Have you ever considered a question, how did ancient humans raise their kids? A baby zebra can run within an hour of being born. A newborn foal is on its feet before its mother has finished cleaning it. You couldn't even lift your own head. For months, you couldn't roll over, couldn't feed yourself, couldn't do one single thing to keep yourself alive. 3 kilograms of pure helplessness. The worst designed newborn in the animal kingdom, by a wide margin. So here's a question that should bother you more than it does. How did something this fragile survive the Ice Age? Predators, cold, starvation, and at the center of it, a creature that can't even hold up its own head. Yet your ancestors pulled it off, every one of them in an unbroken chain for 300,000 years. Not a single link broke, or you wouldn't exist. The answer isn't some lost survival trick. It's the reason humans became human at all. And it's the exact thing we've quietly walked away from. To see why the human baby is so useless, you have to see what it cost to build one. 2 things happened to our ancestors that were never supposed to happen together. We stood upright, and an upright body needs a narrower pelvis, so the birth canal shrank. And we got smart, so the brain swelled. A narrower door, a bigger head. You can already feel where this is going. Evolution was cornered into 2 options. Let mothers die trying, or push the baby out early, before it was ready. It chose early. A human, honestly, is born half-finished. Your brain at birth was only about a quarter of its adult size. A chimp is born closer to half. All the wiring other animals complete safely inside the womb, we finish outside it, exposed, while the baby depends on someone else for every breath of its survival. There's a name for those first strange months. The 4th trimester. A pregnancy that continues after the birth, which means for a while, you weren't really a baby out in the world at all. You were a fetus that had run out of room. And that is where the real problem begins. A fetus on the outside cannot be put down. Cold takes it fast. A predator takes it faster. A newborn crying alone on the ground is a bell rung for anything with teeth. So a mother is handed a job with no solution. Gather food, cross miles of hard ground, and keep alive a creature that can't be set down and can't be left. No human being anywhere can do that alone. So we did something almost no other primate does. We stopped raising children alone. Among our closest relatives, a chimp mother clamps down on her infant and lets no one else near it. We went the opposite way. The baby gets handed around to the father, the aunt, the older sister, the grandmother, the unrelated woman at the next fire. The anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has a word for it: alloparenting, other parenting. The baby moves from arms to arms to arms all day long. And here's the part that flips your intuition. That constant passing around is not chaos. It's the safety. This was never a creature meant to be held by one person. It was a creature meant to be held by a whole group. And of all those hands, one pair carried more than its share. Here's a fact that should stop you cold. In most of the animal kingdom, a female stays fertile right up until she dies. Reproduction is the entire point. The moment you can't reproduce, nature is done with you. Humans break that rule, and break it hard. A woman can live 30, 40 years after her body can no longer bear a child. Menopause, followed by decades of life, barely exists out there. A few species and us. So why keep her alive? In the 1990s, the anthropologist Kristen Hawkes watched the grandmothers and gave an answer that's hard to shake. The old women who no longer had babies of their own spent their days digging deep for roots and tubers, feeding specifically their daughters' children. And where a grandmother was working, more grandchildren lived to grow up. The idea is this. Evolution kept our women alive long past childbearing because an experienced old woman was worth more to the tribe than one more infant. It's still a hypothesis, but a haunting one. Your grandmother is not what's left over after her usefulness ended. Far enough back, she may have been the difference between a tribe that lasted and one that didn't. So the baby is never put down. Then where does it live? It lives on a body. No cribs, no strollers, no nursery down the hall. For nearly all of human history, the baby rode along, bound in a hide, slung on a hip, moving with the group as it walked and foraged. It learned the world as a rhythm, the sway of someone walking, the white noise of the camp, and beneath all of it, always, a heartbeat pressed against its ear. Which explains something you can watch with your own eyes today. Pick up a screaming baby and start walking, and it goes quiet, almost every time. Nobody taught it that. It's older than language. Motion meant it was being carried, and being carried meant it was safe. Being set down and left still meant the one thing a helpless infant could not survive. Alone, on the ground, where something could find it. The modern baby that settles the instant you stand and wails the instant you sit is not being difficult. It's obeying a rule 300,000 years old, written into it before it was born. Put down means danger. It has no way of knowing the predators are gone. And the day that baby could finally walk, its schooling began. Though it looked like anything but school. There were no classrooms, no lessons, no grades, no adult sitting a child down to teach. There was play, and play was rehearsal. The children copied whatever the grown-ups did, chipping at stone, stalking and throwing, feeding the fire, digging, gathering, running it all as a game that was, underneath, the most serious work of their lives. No one padded the world for them. You learned the spear by missing with the spear. You learned the fire by getting too close to the fire. The mistake was the lesson, and the tribe had the patience for it, because it had watched 1,000 children make the exact same mistake and grow up anyway. Play was not a break from survival. Play was survival, rehearsed at small scale. Until the afternoon, it stopped being a game. So lay it all out, and the answer surfaces. And it was never a technique. How did ancient humans keep the most helpless newborn on Earth alive through the Ice Age? They never let it be alone. It went from a mother's arms to a grandmother's, to an aunt's, to a sister's, carried, fed, watched, and passed along by a whole tribe that treated one child as everyone's responsibility. The baby's helplessness was never a problem for one person to solve. It was the bill, and the entire group paid it together. That is the real answer. And it's stranger than it sounds. The very helplessness that should have killed us is the thing that forced us to become the most cooperative animal alive. We are who we are because our babies could not be left alone. And here's where it turns and looks straight at us. We built the crib, the stroller, the nursery down the hall. We took a job that once took a whole tribe and handed it to one exhausted mother, or two exhausted parents, and then acted surprised when they started to sink. We solved the newborn's biology and quietly dismantled the one thing that ever made that biology survivable, the village. For 300,000 years, children were raised by whole tribes. Today, we expect parents to do it completely alone. So, which piece of that ancient world do you think we should take back? Tell me in the comments.